Today's Mac Voices is supported by RemoteHQ. Collaborate as if you were in the same room. Visit remotehq.co/MacVoices for a free trial and 3 months free with the code MacVoices. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is a virtual visit with Mike from IOGEAR as part of our virtual CES coverage. Mike walks us through all of the announcements they made at this year's virtual CES. We talk briefly about how the pandemic has affected some of their products and about everything else that they offer. So enjoy and take a good look at this because there's some really interesting gear here.
Good morning, I'm Mike Volpe, the marketing manager for IOGEAR. I'm excited to give you a preview of some of the products we've launched just before the show, and I'm expected to launch in Q1 of next year. We'll run right into our computer accessories and KVMs. So this is our newest KVM designed for the remote work from home audience, as well as professionals using the newer laptops. This is a 3-port 4K USB-C and DisplayPort KVMP, or RGCS 1953. It's the ultimate plug-and-play solution for professionals who are juggling up to 3 computers on a cluttered home office desktop or in the office. Essentially, you're able to share one 4K monitor, your keyboard, your mouse, as well as up to 2 USB-A devices. It's compatible with Thunderbolt 3 devices, but you're not going to see those Thunderbolt 3 speeds. We're hoping to have this launch late Q1, probably closer to March. And one of the neat features that we have for it is firmware upgradable, so we'll be able to add additional software updates to it as things roll out. Now I'm going to move on to our newest UpStream products. We introduced the UpStream line last CES with our UpStream Pro video production switch, which I'll touch on a little bit before we go in, after we talk about the newer products, launching this December. We have a quick sizzle reel, but I'll save that for another time. So this is our UpStream Pro video capture adapter. It's the perfect addition to any live streaming setup, or the perfect tool for any aspiring live streamer that might be looking to get started with a more dynamic setup. Controlled via your smartphone, either your Android or Apple. You can set up 2 HDMI-enabled video sources from a DSLR camera, camcorder, video game system, laptop PowerPoint, to capture and mix 2 live 4K videos at HD UVC format. So one of the cool features of this product is that it is capable of capturing in 4K, but it will actually output in 1080p, which makes it a little bit easier for anyone who already has an existing XSplit or Streamlabs OBS. Most of those services don't know what to do with that amount of 4K data. So this is essentially a product that makes that whole process a little bit easier, but gives someone who is looking to capture in 4K the ability to do that and edit it and output that format in a more traditional YouTube format. So one of the best features is the fact that the entire device is controlled via your smartphone, via our UpStream's Essential app. And it's broken into about 3 sections. Video lets you set how the stream looks with picture-in-picture, split screen, or straight-on view. Audio is where you can manually adjust the levels or enable audio follow-through. So it's kind of ideal for podcasters. What it allows it to do is similar to how Teams and Zoom and all of these video conferencing services work. As someone starts talking, the UpStream Pro will basically move the video to follow the audio. So as people are talking back and forth, the video will switch based on the settings that you've set up. And finally, we have the setting where you can get into the chroma key, so you can have your green screens and do other settings to adjust the UVC video format, so you can go all the way up to 1080 at 60 or down to a more 480 if you're going real SD quality. So this is a diagram of the 10,000-foot view. it kind of gives you a variety of the devices that you can connect. So that includes a audio mixer. So if you have a Go XLR audio mixer, you're able to connect it to the XLR port. We have a variety of inputs that you can kind of juggle with. So if you're someone who already has your setup built, ideally you'll be able to slide this product in and make it mesh really well. Or if you're someone who's in that process of rebuilding out their streaming, you'll have the opportunity to kind of build with the best products that are out there. So next up is our UpStream mobile capture adapter. It's kind of a single source, ultra portable external capture. We designed this for the streamer on the go, presuming one day we all get to go somewhere. So it has a 1/4 inch universal mounting screw on the top and the bottom. The screw allows you to kind of mount it wherever you want, from a camera tripod to the camera itself, or to your mountain bike for those hypnotic ride videos that everyone continues to push to me now that I've discovered them on Facebook. So this is the diagram. It kind of gives you a layout of the product. Has a really neat feature that allows you to basically capture from both an HDMI source or like a DSLR, or you can do it through your Android smartphone or tablet via an app called Camerify or other apps that are similar to that. It isn't a feature that isn't currently supported on Apple iPhone due to Apple's own special rules about how the apps can interact with their camera. So last but not least is our UpStream Pro video production switch. We introduced this last CES. I like to show it as because it's the good, better, best scenario. This is a true professional streaming kit with the full scope of the live streaming line. It essentially is a stream-ready device that allows you to capture, edit, program manage, create overlays, and stream up to two services, all from one device. It's all controlled via our iPad app. This is one of the few products where it is exclusively for an Apple device, an Apple iPad, iOS Pad 11 and up.
Today's MacVoices is supported by RemoteHQ. Collaborate as if you were in the same room. Visit remotehq.co/MacVoices for a free trial and 3 months free with the code MacVoices. RemoteHQ empowers your remote team so that they can work together even though they aren't together. You might think that you are collaborating using video conferencing and screen sharing, but do you realize that those are 20-year-old technologies? Do you really want to try to compete in today's world with 20-year-old technology? With RemoteHQ, you don't have to. You can have multiple rooms within your workspace so that one project team won't disturb another project team. You can see who is in which rooms and drop in as you need or want to. Or if you have part of your team developing something super secret, you can lock a room so that only invited participants can get in and see what's going on. And RemoteHQ takes security very seriously, with AES 256-bit encryption with your data at rest and SHA 256 with RSA encryption for data in transit. So no one is going to hear or see your confidential conversations. RemoteHQ has so much more to offer in remote collaboration. That's why I want you to visit remotehq.co/MacVoices to find out everything and sign up for a free trial. And when you are ready to launch, use the code MacVoices for 3 months free. That's 3 months of collaboration for your team for free at remotehq.co/MacVoices. Try it and find out just how powerful RemoteHQ is. remotehq.co/MacVoices. Thanks to RemoteHQ for their support of MacVoices.
So next, we're going to move on to our Caliber gaming line, our Commander 2 sizzle. I'll save this video for you for another day. Nope. So launched in the shadow of the newest current-gen gaming systems, the Commander 2 3-Play brings a unique keyboard, mouse, PC-like experience to your Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, basically all of the latest and greatest gaming systems, except for the PS5, but we do plan for compatibility with that gaming system by the end of Q1. It's proving to be a little bit more difficult than the other systems. So one of the cool features about the 3-Play is it allows you to share your keyboard across 2 game consoles and a gaming PC, or 3 gaming consoles, or 3 gaming PCs if you want to completely negate the purpose of a Keymander. If you're like me, your gaming system has kind of now become part of your integrated desk setup, and it's an ideal solution because you can transition from work to gaming with your keyboard and mouse with the touch of a button or through the app without having to have 2 keyboards or have to constantly unplug and remanage your wire setup. It's been a pretty popular product for us, and it's one of those things where we have a lot of people who have shown great interest in the product. It allows people to kind of play their way, add that customization that maybe they don't have outside of buying a proper PC. If they're a console player and they want to have the ability to use a keyboard and mouse, it's limited based on how the developers have kind of gone forward. And this is a great product that has kind of brought this upon us. Next up is probably our most exciting development in our gaming line, our Keymander Mobile. It brings the keyboard and mouse experience to your iPhone, your iPad, and Apple TV with all the mobile titles like Fortnite and Call of Duty. And I know what you're thinking. Didn't Apple make iPad 14 keyboard mouse native support? Yes and no. It's kind of similar to what Xbox and PlayStation have done, kind of left it up in the hands of developers. And so this is one of those scenarios where you can essentially bypass the developers and have this feature available across all of Apple's products or all of the apps. And this also most likely includes the latest cloud streaming services like Google Stadia and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, where you would be able to access, top of the line AAA games and actually play them in theory on your iPhone, on your iPad, or your Apple TV. So moving on to our IKON 2 gaming keyboard, this is part of our expanding and refreshing our entry-level gaming keyboards with the IKON 2. It's a feature-rich value keyboard with a lot of cool features, 9 dedicated multimedia buttons, a volume control, 6 programmable G keys on the left. This is a solid membrane keyboard. It's plunger style, so it's not a mechanical keyboard. And it's basically for someone who's looking for an RGB style keyboard without having to spend too much on it. Next up is our KORONA Core 2 compact keyboard and mouse combo. This is probably one of our most popular keyboards that we've been producing. It's something that is often paired with the Keymander 2 and the new Keymander 2 3-play. It's a great little solid compact keyboard and super comfortable 6200 DPI optical mouse. We sell a lot of them. And this is kind of a refresh, slightly new tooling, some improved plunger keys, and just basically we managed to get the product about 10% smaller. So next up is our SYMMETRE Pro FPS gaming mouse. This is a gaming mouse designed to be ambidextrous, allowing you to configure it to be either if you want to be a left-hander or if you want to be right-handed. It's packed with a blistering PMW3389 sensor. So if you're looking for 16,000 DPI, which is overkill for most gamers, but ideal for some other users, it's kind of perfect. One of the cool features that this product has is that you can actually remove the buttons on either side of the mouse. So if you're someone who doesn't need all 8 buttons, or you don't want to be able to have to accidentally touch them, you can actually remove them and replace them with magnetic spacers that will prevent you going forward from accidentally, tabbing back with the left side or the right side buttons. And finally, we introduce our new Surface 2 mats. These are ultra-thin, non-slip, silicone-backed mouse mats that prevent it from slipping on your desk. It essentially comes in 2 sizes, your traditional mouse pad and the extended mouse pad, which will include your keyboard, your mouse, and any other devices that you want to add. It allows you to have a really nice, clean surface to play on. And now finally to our wired AV solutions. This is our compact and discrete 3-port true 4K HDMI switch. It's about the size of this really fat pack of playing cards. This HDMI switcher has no compression, so you're going to get the full 444 color and resolution spectrum, HDR10, Dolby Vision, It's a great little addition if you already maxed out your HDMI ports on the back of the TV. And if for some reason you need to cascade it even further, it can actually go up to 3 levels. So you'll end up with about 27 source ports. So one HDMI port to 27, which is great. It will auto detect and select new HDMI ports with most smart televisions. So if you connect your your Blu-ray player or your PlayStation 4, as you swap between those devices, your television will be able to automatically make that update and identify the product, the device as such. And that's pretty much our CES 2021. We're very excited about the new products that are coming in the first quarter, and we have some really fun products planned for the rest of 2021, which I hope we get to talk about at a later date.
Gee, is that all, Mike?
Yeah.
A couple things on the last one, the 4K HDMI switch. I want to hear that again. One HDMI port can connect to 27 different devices.
So yes, due to how it cascades through the connection, you can essentially take one HDMI cable, plug it into this, and start just basically cascading out. So you would essentially be using maybe the third port and just continue to go out for 3 levels, which would give you 27, exactly 27 ports.
You shouldn't be encouraging me like this, Mike.
Well, I'm in the same situation that you're in, where I feel like all the television manufacturers started taking HDMI ports away from me, and everyone continues to give me more and more devices that require it. And I've reached this point where you're not necessarily allowed to have these giant HDMI switchers that sit underneath your television, because you already have a sound bar there. You already have your Roku and your Apple TV. Your media centers have become more and more cluttered, and this is an effort for designed to basically hidden behind your media center and make your life a little bit more easier, and maybe get you out of trouble with your significant other for having too many toys.
Yeah, well, there is that. There is that. I'm struck by you guys have always been big in gaming, so some of those announcements were not a surprise, and I'm not much of a gamer, so I'm not quite qualified to comment on that. But some of the earlier things, the streaming and the KVM switch, seem to be kind of informed by where we've been for the last year, and that is in lockdown, which is why we're doing this instead of doing it at the IOGEAR booth in Vegas. The idea that we're all having to be at home more, so the KVM switch lets us connect more things and switch between them. The streaming things, everybody's doing streaming of one kind or another now, it seems, or looking at it, and you all have just made it that much easier with these solutions. Well,
we've always been a company that's been focused on user accessibility, plug and play. So a lot of this, the pandemic kind of strengthened a lot of the things that we were already doing well. We had already started to move into live streaming as a result of our past experience with Pro AV. We've always been a KVM company. We've been developing KVM for over 20 years at this point. And this is kind of the natural solution to what we were already starting to see in the market, where professionals were juggling 1 or 2 devices, and then the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden everyone knew what a KVM was, rather than me having to explain what that acronym stands for. So what we've essentially seen is the entire work from home audience has shifted to becoming far more knowledgeable and literate on how to best kind of make their desktop work. Because I think in the beginning, especially in the beginning of the pandemic, and we saw this through our sales, everyone was like, well, this is going to be a month and a half. I'll be fine working on my laptop, juggling it with my desktop. And then as this thing continued to creep, people realized, well, juggling 2 laptops and having multiple keyboards or multiple mouses on their desktop was unsustainable. And so this is kind of the natural step, where we're bringing a product that essentially addresses the issue that's been in the marketplace for a while. This is essentially a hybrid KVM that allows you to have your brand new, USB-C desktop or the laptop and your traditional DisplayPort desktop that you already have, but allows you to essentially, with adapters, manage them both, and essentially, swap and have one keyboard, one mouse, one monitor, or set of monitors to kind of juggle your life.
And the thing too about IOGEAR, I mean, I have a number of your products. In fact, I was using one this morning, streaming video from one room to another because I don't have a video connection in that other room. It's, you guys have a million products out there, and you have solutions for everyone, and they're all approachable. These are not, with all due respect to all the tech people, these aren't real techie products. Just like once you understand, okay, this is what it accomplishes, if you just follow the instructions that come with it, it's a snap. It just, you plug it in and it does what it says it does.
Yep.
So,
well, and that's one of the reasons why we do so well with the retailers that we work with. We've always essentially designed our products with a plug and play mentality. We want them to be user friendly. We don't want them to get so complicated that they need an advanced degree in computers in order to plug, to set up their media center. So a lot of the focus, and I always joke, we're innovative in the sense that we're trying to make it easier for everyone to do it, to use the products, rather than trying to break new ground on the latest piece of technology, because I don't want, none of our products are designed for you to have to call in that IT person. Honestly, probably our most complicated product is our Keymander 2 and the Keymander 2 3-play, just because it requires a little bit of modification due to how it interacts with the PlayStation and the Xbox. But based on the fact that most 14-year-old boys are completely able to set that up and to start destroying each other on the leaderboards, speaks to essentially how, it's a fairly easy prompt to follow if you follow the really basic instructions sometimes.
Yeah. And that's an interesting point you make, that, the idea of making things that much more accessible. I think we hear a lot about that in software. We don't necessarily hear about it that much in hardware, except from the main manufacturers and certainly not from the third-party folks. And yet that's exactly what is needed, because people, you're right, now that a lot of us are working from home, we have these needs or these desires to set up something different on our own, but we don't have an IT staff at home.
No.
So, yeah.
You have a sullen 14-year-old teenager who doesn't want to interact with you, and will only after you nag him incessantly.
Or a significant other that says, "What are all these wires?" Yeah, yeah. The website where folks can go to learn all about these products and everything else that IOGEAR does is?
You can find us at www.iogear.com.
Great. Thanks so much for the time. I really, really hope we get to do this in person in the IOGEAR booth in Vegas next year.
Fingers crossed.
Amen. Amen. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. Go check out the IOGEAR stuff. As I said before, I own a number of their products. I love their products because they just work. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.